Good afternoon. Am I audible? Yes. So it's a new start. It's a new opportunity and it's a new hope, right, with respect to the exam. The purpose of the session is to briefly orient you about how the program will work and what are expected from you and what you can expect from us and how we will navigate this 15 months journey from today. 15 months because the program starts from June and it goes on till September 2024. So all of you have done some form of syllabus completion. Most of you or many of you would have done foundation programs, right? All of you have appeared for prelims. Anybody here who hasn't written a prelims? There are a couple of you who haven't written a prelims. How many people have written multiple prelims? Okay, so it's a mixed crowd. So when our counselors or our mentors explain the program to you, they would have highlighted that the emphasis would be on 2-3 things: content building, note making, answer writing, test solving. Wherever there is a syllabus gap, we will work on that, right? But I think I'll address the elephant in the room, right? The most challenging thing with respect to this program would be consistency. Because from my experience, and I tell this to people who come to join courses also, whenever the duration of the course is longer, it becomes like gym memberships. I always compare it to gym memberships, right? You can see me, I have tried a couple of gyms, full year membership, 6 months, nothing has worked, right? So the challenge is that we always start with the best of enthusiasm, right? We assume that I'll go every day, I'll even do the leg day, right? Everything will go on. But the consistency and the, aspiration wanes. You get up in the morning and like, no, today, I'll cover it up tomorrow. And this is exactly what you have to be worried about in this program as well. Because if you do this consistently, right, the program has been comprehensively designed. I don't think you can do more than this for GS or SA. Optional we have not touched, so that's on you. But as far as GS and SA is concerned, there is nothing that you can do more than this because we have micro-planned it to its most, minutest aspect. We have thought of everything possible from whatever experience we have. This is my 11th year in this segment and we are conducting our 9th mains test series. So we have seen a lot of copies, we have seen a lot of people who have not cleared examinations, cleared, secured ranks, improved ranks, we've seen all type of people, right? So consistency would be extremely challenging. I'll give you some tricks which you can try for this. Had a student last year. His name was Kishan Kumar Singh. The guy got rank 170, 180 the first year, and he improved to rank 24, something like that, if I'm not wrong about the ranks. And the first time he was working in RBI when he joined with us in a test series the first time around. And he said what he did to ensure consistency was that he kept a bet with his roommate. If I don't write a test on a day, I'll give you 10,000 rupees. You need to have such strong compulsions to get up and go. If you want anyone to keep a bet with, I can be that person, right? I can be that person if you want to keep that bet, right? Otherwise, you find something that it forces you to get up and do this because, see, the primary part is that, everything will lead to, so your notes on a daily basis, test on a weekly basis, revision test. This is going to add up. It has to add up. It will clear because you'll have a better chance at this examination, not because you have joined Next IAS, because you will religiously do this process. This is a process-oriented program and emphasis is on the process. What is the process? Every day you have 5 to 6 questions that you have to research and write. Then, and within that also we have segregated it into 2 parts. We have conceptual clarity and we have value addition, right? This is the books which will be distributed to you along with the ID cards. This is the first set of books, right? This is the notes that will be eventually made for the first 17 weeks, which will include topics like polity, economy, geography, history. And this can be revised, right? This can be revised maybe 5 times, 10 times between prelims and mains. You can revise this before prelims. So this is what we are aspiring for you, right? Your entire polity is this. And within this, there will be 15 pages of just value addition, which maybe you can read 100 times. That's our aspiration so that you recollect and remember this. But see, even though we are giving discussions for each of these assignments, we are giving you handouts for each of these assignments, but unless you get on the ground and you do your research and you do add content to this, it will not be a building process. See, someone who has to do, who doesn't have sufficient time can always take the printout of the solution we are giving and they can extract the content and do it. But don't do that, because that will not internalize the concept, it will not internalize the values or keywords in the respective. Can you check this noise? Can we? Right, okay. So the idea is, now this is the first 5 weeks. This is polity, which will start on Monday, right? And when we start this on Monday, you have 5 questions for that day. Now here also the difference is that how many of you are PSIR candidates? Assuming at least 15 to 20% has to be PSIR, right? Statistically, that is what happens. Obviously, they'll have a better edge. Law optional students will have a better edge on polity because they have this overlapping with their optional. So some people will take lesser time to do certain topics, more time to do certain topics. If you are from a sociology background, the society part may be relatively easier for you compared to the next person. So we have not left a lot of leaves, right? We have only given you a Saturday a week. And that is for the next 17 months. Next 15 months, including the mains, it will go on, right? And that's going to be challenging because we are going to see Diwali, we are going to see Holi, we are going to see marriages in the family, we are going to see a lot of things, right? Anybody who does this 100% on time, there's a special gift from me, right? If the first phase, you do all this books consistently, right? I'm promising you, you come and meet me and show me. I'm saying this because I feel that the consistency would be the biggest challenge. Consistency in doing this on a daily basis, writing the test on a weekly basis. See, the first test that you're going to write on this Saturday, you're going to write, Sunday you're going to write bullshit, most of it, right? Because it's your first test after a certain time. Maybe for some of you, it's your first test ever, right? But the learning curve is going to be like, I'll write this and this and this, and it'll get better, and it'll reach a certain peak. And now, imagine if you had cleared prelims this year, would you have been ready to crack mains? Ask yourself, honestly, like, do you have the notes? Do you have the content? Do you have the answer writing practice? And that is what we are aspiring for. We are aspiring for you to have the notes, conceptual clarity, sufficient answer writing practice, and when you get a right chance to write mains, you will hit it through the roof, right? Usually in a class which has a foundation student of this size, I assume the conversion ratio would be 1%. In this classroom, I'm hoping it will be 10 to 15%. That's my ambition for this. Even in this classroom, everybody is not going to clear. It's going to happen. Statistically, it's not possible because the competition is such. We all will aspire. I have to aspire and work hard enough to be in that 10 to 15% of students. So what I was saying is that, so I have people this week. I think I would have met, let's say, n number of people in the last 1 week after prelims results. And the common complaint that I get from people who are freshers is that, sir, notes nahi bana hai, maine answer writing nahi kiya hai, and you have cleared prelims. And there's no guarantee you're clearing prelims next year. Every year prelims is different. Prelims doesn't, I know people who have ranks in this year's rank list, but haven't cleared prelims. Prelims doesn't differentiate. It doesn't care whether you're a fresher or first timer or rank holder or whatever. So whenever you get the chance to write prelims, your attempt has to be the best possible attempt. See, we will be concentrating on prelims almost from mid of December. If you look at the schedule, from mid of December, we are going into social justice, which will have a significant emphasis on schemes. We are going to IR, we are going into science and tech. So your prelims-oriented approach, and it is not there in the schedule as of now, but we will be integrating prelims tests related to those topics from mid of December or end of December. Whenever we are doing IR, whenever we are doing science and tech, you will have prelims-oriented MCQ test from 3rd week of December to January also. So you will go to a prelims-oriented mode for at least 5 to 5.5 months. So you will have that time. But this is a time when we build content, when we build notes. I'm repeating myself, I can understand, right? So there's a difference between an assignment and an assessment. Assignment is where we are expecting you to build notes. It does not have to follow the IBC model. We call it the IBC. IBC is intro, body, conclusion, right? your assignments does not have to be intra-body conclusion. It can also be in a format where you are taking a concept from this. You're just going to write the definitions, the keywords, the challenges, whatever is relevant into those questions. Though you can also write, if this theme comes again, I will have these introductions which I can use to write. But it does not necessarily have to follow the format of an answer. Your answer writing will happen in your assessment tests, it will happen in your revision tests, it will happen in your post-prelims full-length tests. Your answer writing, you'll have sufficient place to do answer writing. Because when you go with the IBC model, no, you are forced to think in a certain structure. The emphasis of this document, which will be your polity notes, is content building, research. These questions, it took us 6 months to frame these questions, right? Whatever you're seeing here, it's probably 10,000 man hours of work. We were a team of 10 people who have sat for the last 6 months and we have worked on this. We're pretty confident about what we have come up with. So the questions are designed on the basis of what has UPSC asked in the last 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. What kind of questions are coming? Where are the questions? What are the themes that it is emphasizing? See, certain times the theme is static, but the dimension is dynamic. You have urbanization and old age, urbanization and women, globalization and culture. You have the static part is there, but it has dynamic relevance. So whenever you are addressing a particular question as a part of the assignment, you should parallelly build. After every week, we have left 3 pages. I don't know whether you have noticed it in the sample book when you were shown it. So every question we have left 2 pages to write. We have not left more because we don't want it to be too bulky. Because whenever something gets too bulky, it becomes extremely difficult to revise and consolidate. So some of you who have big handwritings and some of you who have no sense of space will end up having less space to do this. But understand, whenever you take this book, this is going to be my polity notes. This is not my, you should not have, see, you have already, most of you would have done running notes in your foundation classes. How many books do you have for polity? 3, 4? 3, 4 books? We don't want to go back to that, right? We want to have something which is concise. If you go to any Telegram group of toppers of this year or last year or last to last year, you look at the size of their notes. You look at the subject and you'll see that their polity notebook is, notes is not 600 pages. It's 100 pages, right? Not more than that. Because that's only what you can revise and consolidate. So when you're making notes on this, make your handwritings legible. But if you have large handwritings which does not include more than 4 words per line, make it a little smaller. Include 5 to 6 words per line and write it in a smaller format. And this will get easier over time. The first few days, it's like reading newspapers. The first time you started reading newspapers, you would have spent 2.5, 3 hours reading it. And then still you will feel that, I did not do enough, I have left this and that. And now when you read a newspaper, you are able to do this in 1 hour, right? So assignments also, the first 5 questions or 6 questions in the first week will probably take more time than you're expected, because you'll aim for perfection. You'll like, everything has to be here, right? Don't do that, because and segregate the concepts and the value addition. The value addition is the articles, the judgments, the reports, the keywords that is going in that particular week. And end of that week, you will have 3 pages of crisp value addition. 3 pages of crisp value addition. Across 5 weeks of polity, you will have 15 sides. That's around 8 pages. I remember some top rank holders value addition, it's just 3-4 pages. When it is 3-4 pages, no, you can get up in the morning and read it once. Before going to bed, you can read it once. You'll read it so much times that you will remember a substantial part of it. Even then, you're not going to remember everything. My number for value addition is 500. You should remember 500 things for GS 1, 2, 3, 4. It will be 50 judgments, it will be 50 articles, 25 reports, 50 examples of, or 100 examples of ethics. Eventually, you should be able to remember 500 things. So the value addition that you put has to be as concise as possible. We have, I think when you came for the counseling, you would have seen that we have made supplementary material for wherever there is a gap. When you're doing geography, we'll be giving you a content which has 200 to 250 maps of geography. I don't think anybody is doing that. I don't think we can do more spoon feeding than what we are doing right now. This is going to be stuffing the spoon into your throat, right? It's not spoon feeding. It's beyond that, right? So whenever there is a topic like governance, we have made separate value addition material because we know for a fact that there are no good concise material for that particular topic. So we have generated, I think, 400 to 500 pages of value addition material for wherever we feel there is no Lakshmikant or there is no spectrum, where there are no standard sources for you to refer, right? So it's not going to make sense in the first week, second week, the first month. But believe me, if you stick to it, it will make sense 3 months from now or 6 months from now, or when you're sitting right for prelims next year. Always imagine you are calculating the cutoff of prelims next year and you're clearing. Where do you want yourself to be? What do you want to be in your arsenal that that you will use to fight those 3 months of mains? So assignments should not be in the IBC format. We had this, the first set of discussions that we shot somewhere in March, April. It was in the IBC format for assignments. And then we said, no, we'll not do, assignments can't be IBC. Assignments are notes. Your notes are not in the answer writing format. Otherwise, what will happen is that you will start writing your answers like your notes and your notes like your answers. Which is what is happening right now, where we are seeing people are just writing a keyword and giving 3 examples. Conventional wisdom is that your argument has to be self-explanatory, and then the example is to substantiate that argument. Now what people are doing is that, yesterday I had a student who was writing an answer about large number of 100 trials, right? And one of the arguments he was making was the laws are archaic in nature. And his point was archaic laws, and he just put 3 examples of archaic laws. Now, if the evaluator is not necessarily from the background of polity, in GS there's no guarantee that a subject expert is checking your paper. In polity, in optionals, your subject expert will be checking. If that GS paper, let's assume, is being checked by a zoology professor, he or she won't be able to understand what you're trying to say. So you have to write your answers in the answer writing format. You have to make your notes in your note format, right? So weekly basis. So see, I'll also see another important component of this is our mentors, right? What can the mentors help you with respect to, right? I'll just make ourselves clear so that you know what you can ask and what you may not be able to get support from, right? Content with respect to the assignment and the topic that is being done. We had a recruitment process for this program in the month of January. Hello. So the last 5 months, one of the things all the recruited mentors were doing was that they were sitting and writing all these assignments. We made all the mentors write these assignments. So you can imagine they have gone through what you're going to go through. Right? So they know, and they have shot the discussions. So honestly, it's a very ambitious program. You are the first set of 200, 250, 300 believers that we have. But next year, this is a significantly bigger program because we are going to generate ranks. You have to decide whether it's going to be you. Right? We know ranks are going to come from this room because it's a rigorous program. Right? If you stick to this, it will work out. The problem is that I have a prediction. The attrition will be 50% in the next 3 months. You would have joined full year test series. You would have joined foundation courses. I'm sure you have not given 100% of it. Probably that's why you're sitting here. Not saying it in a critical manner, but there's a tendency for us to not stick to the requirement of a program, right? So mentors will help you with respect to the content that is expected in each of these answers. When you look at the format of the assignment, you will notice that at the end of every assignment, we have put 5 keywords, whether the content that you have written is relevant, whether it has the sufficient value addition that is required in this particular 2 pages, whether it is crisp enough, brevity, right? This is very important because if you make it like your running notes of the foundation, it will defeat the purpose. So we have given you 2 pages. As far as possible, stick to those 2 pages. Some of those questions will feel like, it won't fit into the 2 pages, but stuff it into those 2 pages, right? Keywords. Do you have the right set of keywords that's required for those questions? Is there a possibility of a map, diagram, and have you included in it? In polity, there are less chances. We had a student in 2018-19. This is a post-Anudeep year, right? And maps was very popular. Diagrams were very popular. So we give open suggestions to students that, draw maps and diagrams wherever you can, right? And I had a student who had a map in a polity answer for a question on judiciary. He had a map of all the high courts in India. So it has to be relevant to the question. If it is relevant to the question, there are significantly less chances of having a map in this book, right? Unless there is a question which is asking for regional comparison between something, and you can express that regional disparity within the map. It's possible, but less chances. But if this is a geography book, there is a significant possibility of having maps and diagrams. We are already spoon feeding you with 200 to 50 maps, but try to do it in your own hand, right? When you get something free and easy, no, it's not going to be remembered. That's something that's very common. Now, I'm sure when you look at your laptops and when you look at your bookshelves, you have a lot of books which you have gotten from friends or PDFs that you have downloaded from Telegram groups, and how many times would you have opened it? But this is a course you have paid X amount of money for, so you will open it, right? Higher the chance, right? If you get it for free, you will not use it as much as you think, but when you have invested time and effort, you will do it, right? So even though we are giving certain types of value addition, make sure that you use and extract the value addition from that and convert it into your own hand notes, right? Because whenever let's say that we're going to give you a compilation of schemes or judgments, you already have 100 options like that. But if you take that and write it in your handwriting, one strategy that we advise people who are writing mains this year, who don't have notes, is take a topper's note, print it on one side, spiral it, and write whatever you want on the other side. So you're basically going to be a surrogate. You're going to build on top of something somebody has built. It doesn't have as much value as something where you will build from scratch. So every assignment will be reviewed, and this is also something that we feel that you will need support only in the beginning, just to understand how to go about. Because once you figure out this is the best way to do this, and this is not going to be the same for everyone. Some people will have better handwriting, some people will be able to draw better diagrams, some people will be able to concise it better. There's going to be variation between you people. So we are not expecting everybody's assignments to look exactly the same. We are expecting that it will meet the purpose. The purpose is that the concept is concised, the revision is possible, right? And once the assignments are done, and every week we have left Saturday as an off. Saturday is not necessarily an off, because it's quite possible that in those Monday to Friday they would have missed a day, or you would not have able to write all the answers. See, my expectation is that each assignment question will take not more than 45 minutes. Some of it is going to take lesser time. And the upper limit is 1 hour. So at its worst case scenario, it's going to take you 5 hours. At its best case scenario, it's going to take you 3.5 hours. So it's also possible that you'll start with a 5-hour week, and you will go to 4, 3.5, and eventually you'll plateau at 4 hours per week. See, could we have done this in lesser time? Yes, if we had. We couldn't do it, to be honest. Does it take more time to do this than what we are expecting it to do? Definitely yes, but unfortunately prelims is happening on a particular given date. That's not going to change. Nobody's going to extend that date for you. So some of these things are going to be, now I'm pretty sure that art and culture week is going to be super hectic, right? Because nobody has studied art and culture. It's something that we all keep it for a later time. The first 5 weeks will be interesting because everybody likes to learn polity. And now you're going to concise whatever is in your running notes, whatever is in your standard books, and you're going to bring it to this. That's going to be interesting. That's why we wanted to start it with polity. Polity is followed by modern history, art and culture. You have the sequence of subjects. So every week, Saturday is a break. Use the break wisely, because you don't, the Sunday is a test day. And you already have a assessment test as well as an MCQ test, right? It's 50 questions of MCQ and 10 questions of assessment, right? We will include PYQs as much as possible in these tests. Across the course duration, we are expecting that we will make you write as many PYQs as possible. And if you find a weird question which doesn't look like it's relevant now, it's a PYQ, right? It's quite possible, right? You will come ask us that, why have you asked this question? We'll tell you that this was in 2018, right? So this happens. So every time a student comes with a question to us, first thing I ask is that, is this a PYQ? Then I'll form my judgment, right? Because if it's a PYQ, we can't complain because that's what UPSC has given, right? So make sure that you answer all the assessment tests. Assessment tests will be in the IBC format, intro, body, conclusion. The first 1 or 2 weeks or the first 2-3 weeks, don't be bothered by time. Our purpose is also to learn how to write good answers. Learning to write good answers is like, it'll take time, right? Once we learn how to write good answers, we'll try to do it in time, right? So don't try to do both things that, I'll write perfect answers and I'll write it in time. It's not going to happen. We have a sufficient time span to address the problem of paper completion. Paper completion is, I think, one of the most common challenge that someone who appears for mains has, right? A lot of people don't go beyond 16, 17 questions, and the difference between getting a rank or getting a good cadre will be those 3 questions in every paper. We will come there. See, you guys are going to be exposed to 1500 themes. I don't know if you understand the gravity of this. It will be difficult for UPSC to ask beyond this unless they decide to do a CSAT and ask something completely different. Right? Based on whatever is happening right now, we assume that questions will come from on the same lines as what is being asked. We are giving you a copy of the answer writing book. Some of you already have probably received this book. We have dedicated almost 40 pages of this on the most predictable themes that has come from examination. See, the problem with predictable theme is that it's predictable. You understand what I know whether you understand this. Because for a predictable theme, everybody has a decent answer. Then you will not get good marks, no? See, the problem is that it's a comparative performance exam, and your paper will be checked after his paper or vice versa. And if this is Shruti Sharma and your paper is coming next, you're going to lose 10 marks in every paper. Because expectation would be extremely high. Evaluators are biased. Evaluators are human, right? When they see something very high quality, and it's vice versa also. If somebody has written very poorly before you, even if your answers were average, no, you'll get better marks because it'll be like, at least this is better than the last one, right? And it doesn't take a lot to get more marks. If you get half a mark more in every question, it's 40 marks across GS. That's the difference between a 320 and a 360, or a 360 and a 400. And same, if it's 1 mark you are getting, it's 80 marks. Eventually, when you're appearing for mains, the game is going to be for that half mark, 1 mark. See, this year, 14,600 people are writing mains, right? Out of that, the top 4,000 candidates will be super competitive, extremely competitive, and that's where I want you to be, in the top 4,000. I wouldn't be surprised if we have 500 rank holders in the top 4,000 who are repeating to get a better rank, who are coming after a break. We have 300 people. We have 200 rank holders. I have it somewhere in my laptop. People who are writing with us. So what happens is that the top 4,000 candidates will refer the same books, will write the same test series, will attend the same class, and more or less write the same content. And that's what you have to build right now, right? Now, one of the things that you should ask yourself when you're writing an assignment is that, what will everyone else write? What can I add that one extra thing? And that's not going to happen overnight. That's something that you'll build in time. When you're writing what you call assignment on society, or let's say polity, ask yourself, you have to have everything that everybody has, but you have to have that magical 1 or 2 things which most people would not have written, and the evaluator will read it and feel that, okay, this guy is talking, or this girl is talking something different. So we always say that, novelty and additional dimensions, or you have to address the demand of the question, but you have to go beyond the demand of the question and give 2-3 lines which will give you that half mark. Go home and look at this year's rank 1's copy. You'll notice one thing, that her every conclusion was multidimensional. Introductions were not very great compared to her conclusions, but you have to understand that the person who's taking that answer is going to put a mark to that question after he reads that conclusion. That's the last thing that person is going to read. And if you impress him there, you'll get half a mark more. So sometimes we suggest that, if you have a great point in the body, don't put it there. Put it in the conclusion. Because that's the last thing that person reads, and that's where they put marks. So when you're making your assignments, ask yourself, can I bring a new dimension into this? Can I add a new keyword out here? Can I put a new data out here? Go back to the sources. And this is why we don't want you to come here and do the assignments, because we want you to sit with your notes, your laptop, your iPads, whatever devices you have, with your standard sources when you're making these assignments. Because this, you should not have to go back to your standard sources when you're appearing for prelims or mains next year. This should be your notes. So whatever you put into it, it has to be extracted from. And always be wary of, how you use internet. The problem with internet is that it gets very diverted. You'll start reading about something, and then you will eventually start becoming like an expert on that. You don't need expertise. But you need something which is novel. Search for it and put it into your answers. Assessment, see, assignments will be reviewed. There will be a discussion video for all the assignments. There will be a handout for all the assignments. All these things have been done, right? DTP has been completed. We have created all these material for you, right? Assessment tests will be evaluated. There's a difference between review and evaluation. Review is looking at it and saying that, this is good, this could be better. It's a very less time consuming process and less intensive process compared to evaluation. Evaluation is where you tell you that this introduction is crap. Don't write like this, right? Assessment is where we give, assignment is where we give suggestion that, you know, we could do this better in the next one. We'll be more critical in the assessments and we'll be less critical in the assignments. Assignments is an open book, so most of the students will have quality answers. That's a problem with daily initiatives. You'll not find very bad answers in daily single answer initiatives. Because you're writing one answer at a time. Your hand doesn't pain. Your handwriting is at its best. It's rounded. It's neat, right? But when you write a 20-question paper, it's not going to be the same. So assessments will be more critical. Assessments will be supported with mentors who will look at the answers and give you review. Assessments will have model solutions, discussions, and assessments questions, it will be question-wise video. So it's quite possible that when you look at an assessment test, you'll feel that, you know, I don't have to watch video for everything. I just need question number 8 and 6. So you'll have that opportunity to look at those questions and address those questions, right? So assignments will have review, grading. Assignments will have discussion videos. Assignments will have handouts. And assessments will have evaluation, discussion, and mentorship support to write better. And every new week, we are going to go to a new set of subjects. And when those 4 or 5 weeks complete, we'll have a full revision test. And those papers are going to be tough. We'll make sure that those papers are tough. Because you're going to come after 5 weeks of preparing polity. And we want to expose you to UPSC standard questions, right? See, when we are doing weekly assessment tests, we will include some current affairs questions wherever it is relevant to the topic that is covered. We're not going to ask a world history week current affairs questions. But if it's a polity week, we will include current affairs which is relevant to polity, right? So be ready for these things. In the assessment test, it's quite possible that you will probably know only 5 or 6 questions, right? Even after preparing 1 week of notes. It's a learning curve. You will get better, you will improve, but don't expect yourself to have magical performance in the first week or the second week. Eventually, when you look back to June, we have done something interesting. We have made an AIM calendar, right? This is something that we have thought of a lot of things, right? We even have suggested for a sticker which will basically say, do not disturb AIM in progress, which you can put on your door, right? So this is a calendar. You will have to give us 1 more week because this is just getting finalized. So this will have all the assignment days. This is the break. This is the assessment test. And it will be having from what date to what is polity, from what date is what. The calendar starts in June. Every calendar starts in January, but your calendar is starting today, right? This is something that you will be provided with. So you'll have this in front of you, you know, right? See, if you follow this, no, something will happen. I'm not guaranteeing, I'll not give it on a bond paper like some institute says. I cannot guarantee that. It's competitive examination, but you'll give your best possible attempt. At least you'll feel next year after mains that, you know, mere se jitna hoga maine kiya hai. Outcome is not in our hand, right? Outcome has a lot of other variables, right? So I'll probably, you'll have it next week. And then when it comes to April, May, so this is where all the test is happening. This is a break, test, break, full tests, right? So this is something that you can put in your cabins or wherever you're sitting, and then your roommate will come and ask, where is this? Can I join also, right? That's our intention, right? Right? So we have not made it very, there's not a lot of branding in this. Like, it's very simple, as little as we can. The primary information is the date of the program and when is the test happening, when is the break day, right? So this is the flow of the course. So mentors will help you with respect to content. They will review, I'm using the word review, or grade your assignments. We have assigned each of the mentors with 50 students, right? Each person is responsible for 50 students. We'll have a common Telegram group where all of you are there, and we will have individual Telegram groups in which you and your mentor is there, right? All are broadcast only, right? If you want to individually communicate, you can directly message them, but the groups are to communicate what is happening on a weekly basis. and probably we can have a, what do you call, you have seen in KFC, where employee of the week, right? We should have probably that, student who has written all the assignments this week. There's nothing that works better than peer pressure, right? When you see that someone else has this book, you have to buy it. You don't care how much it costs or where you have to go to get it. So we'll probably try to create every month, best students in AIM who has written all the assignments, who have attempted. It will not be based on performance. Like the score doesn't matter, but have you followed the process? Have you made the notes? Have you made the assessment tests? That is what we will do in this thing. So they'll review the assignments. They will provide mentorship support on the assessment tests. We are not expecting them to evaluate all your assessments. They will look on an evaluated copy. So we have a parallel team which will be evaluating the assessment tests. If it's possible for them, they'll look at every question that has been evaluated and give you feedback, right? Then sources. I'll again repeat that cliche statement, limited sources, multiple revision. Everybody says it, but since nobody listened to it the first time around, we are saying it again, right? Before you ask yourself, when you are going into a bookshop and buying a book, you should ask yourself, will I read this? Why am I buying this? Am I buying this because of peer pressure? Am I buying this because this is a core, primary source for this particular material, right? They'll help you with respect to deciding the sources. They will help you with respect to preparation strategy. Mentors will be available for 10 to 7 for calls, meet, whatever possible. There will be variations up and down, right? One day in a week, your mentor will be on leave. Please let him have that day, him or her have that day. I think these are 3 months when I take a leave when I get too tired. I'm at that brink of it. I'm like, I need a break. We have a felicitation happening today for all the toppers. So after that, we'll be exhausted. So 10 to 7 is the time when we are expecting the mentors will be available for calls. If you have an issue after 7 o'clock, put a message. If they are available to take a call, they'll call you back, right? This is one. Build a preparation strategy. Then general doubts, whatever you can. See, they cannot, see, I had a student last year who used to call at 12 o'clock in the night and say that, sir, man nahi aa raha hai padhne ke liye. You're going to go through those phases, right? But some of these problems are problems that only you can solve. Nobody can solve it for you. Motivation to study is something that's internal, right? We will track, we will get back to you if you are not writing. I have asked for a resource which will be dedicated for just this, just to follow and track that, who hasn't submitted the assignments or who hasn't written the assessment tests at least, right? You don't have to come and show every assignment that you're doing. You come and show whenever, and don't waste your time coming every day. You're anyway coming on the Saturdays and Saturday you have a break, Sunday you have coming for the test. So Saturdays, maybe if you can come with the whole week's assignments and you can spend half an hour with a mentor, that should be more than sufficient for the week, right? Initially when you are figuring out how to do it, meet them. But in the later thing, that interaction has to have a value. If you notice in our answer booklets, we usually keep at the end of this thing, the doubts that you want to ask the mentor. Because so that when you're coming to the mentor, you have a set of, so I have people who come and say that, sir, I have to ask these 5 questions. Be clear of what you want to ask, what is exactly that you're expecting from them, so that they can also add value to your preparation, right? This is what the mentors are expected to provide. From mid-December onwards, we are going to a prelims-oriented mode. You will end up, you have seen the numbers. We have put all the numbers next to the fees just to justify why we are taking so much money, how many classes, how many tests, how many things are included. So you will have your time for your prelims. Don't fret about it right now. Everybody is worried about prelims, including us, right? GS and CSAT, the papers are weird, right? But with conceptual clarity from a mains perspective and with sufficient practice in answer writing and with sufficient practice in MCQ solving, you will be much better placed. And we will do, we have CSAT classes happening, enhancement classes happening from January. We have current affairs for prelims classes taken by our most senior faculties happening in that timeline. We have weekly current affairs classes. See, you will have a certain routine which you are following. Take a look at this. If this is something that you feel is better than what you're doing or this is more aligned with what you're expected, do that, or else you follow your standard sources. See, I expect a serious student to prepare 9 hours a day. This is my expectation right now. This is basically split into 3 slots of 3 hours each. Right? You'll need 1 to 1.5 hours for current affairs. Right? I'm assuming 1 slot for optional and the remaining 4.5 or 4 hours for, it's not adding up, right? There's a half an hour somewhere there, you figure it out, right? But 3 slots, 1.5 slots of this for AIM, half a slot of this for current affairs, and 1 slot for your optional, right? This is what we are expecting. There will be certain weeks where you will do more of something and less of something. See, our expectation is at the end of the week. Even if you're doing just 2 days of complete optional and finishing entire AIM assignments in 3 days, it doesn't matter for us. But by end of that week, we want all those 25 questions responded to in note format, right? Then other than this, we will have an orientation session on answer writing before you have the first assessment test, which will be uploaded to your portal, so that you will be explained about all the basics of answer writing, how to write introductions, body, conclusion, how to make it more visible. We'll give you an overview, most likely by Friday, right? It will be uploaded into your portal, and you can watch that before you write your first assessment tests. We will try to bring some toppers and interact with you, people who have done this journey that, did not clear prelims thrice and got a rank, or did not cleared prelims once and then had a break and then cleared this examination. We'll try to bring in as and when possible to interact with you guys, right? Optional, we don't have a lot of support, but if you feel that you want to connect to a particular topper of the subject, please reach out to the team. If it is someone that we know or we are in touch, we will make arrangements for that also, subject to the availability of the respective rank holder and how far he is willing to support, right? We'll support in whatever way we can, right? What else, anything that I'm missing with respect to the program? Any specific areas? Your access will be mailed to you today, right? Login is based on OTP for the number that you have provided to register. So you don't have to remember a password every time. It's going to be like a OTP based entry. So you put the number, you'll have an OTP to access it. The access is on the top of the home page. There is a Mains Test Series on the top. When you click that, it will open into 3 separate portals. One portal is for AIM, right? So you will get a mail today by end of the day, right? Your ID cards, you can show your fee receipt and collect it from the basement. Some of you or most of you are next IAS students, so you know how it works. The books will be given to you from there. We have already received all the books. So the first phase, what we are providing you is there's a syllabus, detailed syllabus book. You have a workbook for all the subjects, and you will have 3 QCAP books, right? This is books which can be used to write the test in case if you're not coming here and writing. What we have done is we have left first page of answer sheet, then we have left a lot of blank pages which can be used for answer writing. The assessment test. In case if you're coming here and writing the assessment test, you will have question paper and booklets. Then you can use it for as a rough, right? And you will have the first 17 weeks will be provided as books, right? You have polity, right, which is the first 5 weeks. Modern history and art and culture is in one book. This is the modern history and art and culture book, right? You have geography, you have environment and disaster management, economy, and agriculture, right? This is what will be provided to you. You will have an answer writing book. We have asked for a what do you call prelims PYQ solved and a mains PYQ solved. Right now, I think the prelims PYQ solved is not in stock. Just give us a week; it will be provided to you, right? And the mains PYQ book will also take 1 week, 10 days because it's still in its DTP phase, right? Once that's ready, you will be provided with that also. Then the calendar, right? These are the things that we'll be providing to you, right? The first 2 weeks will be challenging because you will be figuring out certain things, how to go about getting into the routine. It's going to be difficult. And the first 2 weeks is when we have maximum number of concerns on how to access a portal, this is not working. You have not used to it. This is the first time you're getting into a portal, so you may face certain concerns, but what we can ensure is that we will respond pretty fast, right? And I have a lot of phone numbers in my phone, which is basically complaint, question quality, complaint, evaluation. And what we do is that whenever someone does a complaint, no, we make sure that that person does not have a reason to complain the next time. We go overboard. We'll do our best, right? Our intentions are as good as it can get, right, as far as the process is concerned, right? And I will be little less available in the next 3 months. I will be mainly dealing with people who are writing mains in the next 3 months, but you will have specific mentors. But if there's any concern that you want to escalate or anything, you can reach out to me, right? I'll put my email address out here. It's Asif, ASIF, at nextias.com. Right? Make a note of the email ID, right? In case if there is something that you want to write to me, good, bad, whatever, right? You can write. And we will respond. I was just having a brief with the team, and I've told them that, if it's something that can be solved immediately, make a quick call and solve. Right? I've had instances where, students raise a ticket and they get a call in the next 2 minutes, and then they realize this is all we do, right? Because when we see something, we feel that, if this is something that we can be solved instantly, we'll reach out, right? So you are our ambassadors also, right? Because you're the first batch of AIM, and let's give it a good shot, right? And let's work so hard that, at least you have that confidence that I've thrown everything that I have towards this examination. And it's a competitive examination. We don't know how the things will turn out, right? And all the best. Any questions that I need to take, right? Weekly current affairs classes are included. It will be provided in the, those things will come as mail, where you will access how is the credentials working. See, current affairs is something that I have already said that in a 9-hour schedule for a day, you will have to spend 1.5 hours in current affairs. So what some people do is that they don't read newspapers, they consume a compilation, they consume a video. So this can be something like a value addition for you, for your current affairs. Like, did I miss out some topic? Do I need clarity on certain issues that has happened in that week? You can use the weekly current affairs video for that, right? Anybody else? I think you should not do both. And as far as I understand, for any foundation student, whenever they clear the foundation, you will have access to those tests. Because that will move at a different pace, and this is at a different pace. We are doing the test series. It's a good test series, right? But you don't need both right now. It'll be difficult. Don't do it, because you have to invest 2-3 hours or 4 hours on optional also, right? See, we have the 4th floor being construction is happening. That's exclusively for MTS and AIM, right? We'll have cabins for all the mentors. We even have a 50-seater classroom, as far as I know, right? For if you want to sit and write something or something, right? But till then, you will have to come and access us in the 1st floor. This is, you heard the sound of work happening, right? It's going pretty fast. So we should see that up in the next 1 month, within the next 1 month. Offline, meeting the mentors will be offline for students who have joined offline. Writing the test will be offline for students who are writing the test. You will get the question papers and all the booklets, the content in the offline mode for the offline students, right? So it's association with the premise and association with the team on an offline basis. That will be primarily for offline students. See, first I'll say, I always look at these kind of questions. I look at people who ask, is this flexible, right? Because he has already decided that I'm going to miss, right? I understand. I know we have Diwali's coming, we have Holi coming, we have a lot of things coming, we have family things coming. That's what I'm saying. See, you will have certain subjects which you don't need as much time as we have allocated. We have allocated based on a general understanding of what is the time required, right? I'm sure a political science student or a polity law student does not need 5 weeks for polity. They may be able to do it with 3 weeks. So internally, whenever you miss a topic, you will have to leverage and finish it out. And we have left a Saturday. See, already the assignment should not take you more than 4 hours, right? So if you miss, you should have that bandwidth to do it within that week or in the next week, right? So is for assessment test. We will make the available the test, but don't start with the intention of changing the schedule. Do this properly, right? No, I'm just requesting, right? So go with the attitude that, you know, I'll do this, at least this is a good day, good start, and I'm sure this is not your first attempt. You have been here for 2 years, 3 years. Some of you have been here for more than that, right? So this is a fresh start. It's a fresh opportunity and a fresh shot at this, right? Mode, right? That's fine. See, the problem is that we can't entertain online to offline because the fees is different, right? Because the offline mode is at a higher fees, right? We don't have a problem for you to move from offline to online, but keep your mentors in touch and inform us if you're doing this, right? It'll be courier to you in case if you're moving to the online mode. But just inform us in a written format so that we have track of this, right? CSAT, we are starting with the month of January, where you will have a CSAT test. We have included enhancement CSAT refresher classes of Manjul sir, and we are ready for a tough CSAT. This year what happened was that nobody was ready for this format. Like most people, if they had practiced for this type of questions, they would have been better prepared and better possible, right? So every time expect something change in the format of the paper. Maybe it's, this year English was easier. It was most direct responses that you can think of. And this is what we have included, right? We cannot predict what UPSC will do, right? We can only prepare for CSAT with a number of tests, with some classes. This is what we have done. We'll see if we can bring in some other, what you call toppers to talk about CSAT and help you at that point of time, right? We are expecting a timeline of 5 days, right? Within the next 5 days, right? The next test is happening next week, right? What else? See, if you're in offline mode, if you're somewhere nearby, walk in. That's the best form, right? When you can show someone how it's being done, that's the best form to do it. In case if you're not here, you upload it via the ticketing system and communicate with the mentor. And you'll have the direct access of the mentors on the Telegram group. You can directly DM them. Essay, I think I missed out. We have one essay every month, right? So across the course duration, you will end up writing at least 10 essay. We'll have a separate orientation session for essay before the first essay, and essays will be evaluated, and you will be provided mentorship support for the essay. You will have an orientation session on how to write essay, and you will have an essay discussion for the respective essay test that you're writing. Ethics, you have KM Pati sir's ethics enhancement classes, which is 25 hours. We have dedicated a month for ethics, where you will end up making roughly 200 pages of notes, and you will end up writing 4 revision tests, 1 revision test and 3 assessment tests. So we have included ethics out there. Right? We have not missed anything. It will be almost every class that we are providing is in online mode. Interaction is offline because we have online students also. So we have kept the classes in online mode. All are recorded access so that you can access it as per your convenience. Right. See, assignment is a note, right? Don't follow the IBC format. No intro, body, conclusion. You can have a collection of introduction for a respective keyword. If you're writing an assignment on, let's say, cybersecurity, you can write a set of introductions or codes that you can use in that. And research as much as possible from your handwritten notes, from your classroom notes, from your standard material into the assignments. Assessments are like a test. You will write within the time. See, in an assignment, to develop 2 pages of content, you can spend up to an hour. In assessment, we are expecting you to do that in 7 minutes. Right? So it's one is a test, the other one is a note. Right? Is that clear? Assignment will be organic. It's going to be different for a lot of people. Assessments eventually will look very similar. Somebody raised hand out here, right? Yeah. We will communicate with that. See, as of now, we have a classroom entirely open throughout the day for writing tests. So I don't prefer to put it at a fixed time on Sunday. You should be able to come at any point of time from morning to the working hours of the test and finish those tests, because some of you are coming from far places, some of you are nearby, some of you prefer to do it at home. So we want to give you flexibility for the assessment test on that given day. See, if you're doing 25 pages of content, researching and writing it and making validation notes, that's your preparation for the assessment test. You revise it on Saturday and come for the assessment test. The questions will be based on the syllabus of that week. I think primacy should be for government portals and for standard sources, because if you go behind unverified sources, there will be variations in the quality of data. Right? So go for standard sources as much as possible. Every week. You don't look happy about it. Right? It's already there in the detailed syllabus handout. No, the book which will be given you will have the schedule. This is your schedule. Right? It has everything. We have put some topos copies also to get some motivation out here, right? Phone. Just 1 second. The material and ID card will be given in the basement at 2 or 5. So 2 o'clock they're just filling up and creating it, so you can collect it around 2 o'clock. You can interact, right? I always feel a good group of 3-4 people is the most effective thing in this exam, right? And one of the things that we want to give is that, we want to give a quality peer group. See, this has to be a quality peer group because you are willing to invest 15 more months and X amount of fees for giving one more shot at this exam. So this will be a much more serious crowd than this crowd that you would have seen in the foundation. The foundation, many of the time, that it's an impulsive decision. It's forced by parents. It's not. Everybody is not serious, right? But I think this will be the most serious people that you will see, right? Interact in the next timeline. The books and the ID cards will be available from the basement from 2 o'clock, right? Any other doubts? I have a couple of online doubts before I take that. See, we have a value addition newspaper classes that is happening. See, if there is a current relevance, see, I believe there are 2 types of current affairs, right? One is predictable in nature because the current affairs will come from the syllabus keyword, and from here you will go to the current affairs, right? Let's take cyber security. You can search cyber security and get all the data that is required. But if you're reading current affairs for the last 6 months, you will only see 3 articles on cyber security. And then there are unpredictable current affairs where questions will come from current affairs and it will be connected to the syllabus. So this will happen when you're making your assignments and assessment and value addition material. This will happen parallelly when you are reading a particular newspaper of the week. We still believe that you have to dedicate a certain amount of time for the news, and you have to dedicate, you can watch the weekly current affairs classes. Right, it's here. Aman. Okay, so this is what I feel, right? Anything else? Okay, so I'm going to take some of these CSAT, how many classes will be included. I'll share the details. That's something which is happening on a fixed basis every year. As far as I understand, it's around 15 to 20 classes of CSAT. I'll clarify this, so you will get a detailed schedule and everything for this. Will you give printed books to online students as well? These books will be couriered to you. We have uploaded the first 2 weeks of assignment in the portal because we have received the books only yesterday. The couriering process will start today. Some people will get it in the next 3 days. Some people it will take 1 week, depending upon the location that you are in. But we will be couriering the workbooks to everyone, right? The assignments will be consisting of PYQs and current affairs too. PYQs, yes, current affairs wherever it is relevant for the theme of the subject that is being covered. We will not include world history questions with current affairs questions, right? We will include current affairs questions in society, IR, security, polity, wherever it is relevant, we'll include. Should we read the topics for the week, day first, and then try adding to the daily questions in a time-bound manner, or start reading up based on the daily questions itself and write? See, I think we have a syllabus keyword, and if you look at the syllabus keyword and the questions are broader in nature. The quality of questions that we have put in the assignments are to cover that syllabus. So it will be like, what are the different types of art form? It's very open-ended. So you will have to go back to your notes, to your material, and then extract from that. So you should, whenever you're starting your day on a given day, you should look at that this is the syllabus of the day, these are the questions, and based on that you should research and do this. The assignments will be checked by the mentors. The assessment test will be checked by evaluators. AIM students, online students will also get this calendar, right? We will courier it to you, right? I think it's a good one, right? No, I'm really proud of what we have come up with. Like, I don't think any program has a calendar, right? Next time, I think for all the festivals, we will write, please don't waste your time. Right? We'll make it a inverted calendar where we'll tell you these are high risk days when you will lose out your schedule, right? Online students will be getting this material, books, calendar, etc. I'll be available after September, in the month of October, right? October to, let's say, January. December, from January to March, I'm on interview, right? So I'll be available from October to December. The team is working with me. We all are, connected, right? The program has been developed. We have worked a lot on this, right? And all the best. If there's anything else, I can take any more questions, right? One more. Online. Can you write? Okay. This is my laptop. We have circulated a Google form. Anybody who hasn't received that or filled that particular Google form? Some of you haven't, right? So the purpose of the Google form was to understand who you are and what are your strengths, what are your optionals, so that we wanted to align you with the mentors who have similar experiences, similar optionals. So wherever we can find synchronous relationship, we'll do that. So make sure that by end of today, online students also, please fill up the Google form, right? Fill up the Google form, because we have basically asked a certain set of information. How many prelims? Have you written mains? How much was your score in the last prelims? What is your optional? What are your strength, weakness? You can write. We have left space. You can say I'm a good singer. You can do whatever you want, right? But with respect to subjects as well, right? Right. Mainly, see, it's a program which is related to the course, right? So. The online students will be provided this material. It will be couriered to the address that you have provided, right? CSAT classes will be the same classes taken by Manjul sir. Yes, we will be providing you the best. I'm in Imphal right now, so will I be able to get PDFs of the first? We have uploaded the PDFs of the first 2 weeks, right? Assuming that some of these materials will take 2 weeks to reach the online students. You will get it today. We have already received the quantity yesterday night. We had to literally abuse some of the printers to make sure that, this is available here today. So all the calendar is not ready, right? Because we have 2 designs. We just have to choose between and decide. You can have a say also if you want, right? So this is one, less, and this is the other one. A slight nuanced difference. Unless you have a design background, you won't see big variation. Right? I like this one, less colorful, less distracting. This one, Shan is saying this one. We'll probably do a poll, right? We'll put it in the Telegram group and we'll take a poll, right? Submission of assignments for online students will be done through the portal, right? You will have to use the mentoring. We'll create a screencast, a screen recording of how the portal works, and put it in a mail for you so that you can see exactly how this is happening. We have a felicitation happening today, so a lot of people are well dressed up, all ready to go to the felicitation, right? So that's happening at 5 o'clock, right? So that is why some of the things will happen only end of day or tomorrow, right? Online downs now, kindly pay attention. Could you quickly talk about peer groups, and will we there? We won't force you into peer groups. So this is what used to happen in what do you call in schools, right? Where you will be forced. You'll have to find your own what do you call people and your own group, right? Assignments will be based on the syllabus provided, not with respect to mains or prelims. The first 6 months we are emphasizing on from an answer writing, note making, content building perspective. The next 5 months will be from a prelims perspective, right? Yeah, somebody has asked to put a quote on the calendar, do not waste time and distract on festivals, right? I don't think I'll do that, right? that will be one small shot which will go viral, right? You know, I say that don't waste your time on festivals, right? That's the last thing I want, right? I want you to celebrate your festivals because life is not just about UPSC, right? We need our festivals. That's what makes us, right? Yes, open book, researched, and written. We have provided 2 pages. We want you to stick to 2 pages. In case if you need more pages, we have rough books. You take a page and add to that. Adjacent to that question, right? Because as far as possible, stick to 2 sides. Because the more bulkier it gets, no, it will be like your Evernote. It's so bulky. Some people come and show me the Evernote and say it's not finishing. It's on and on and on, and in the end you can't do anything about it. Always see the end purpose in the thing that you're doing. I want to read this before I go into the examination hall, right? Standing outside the door. So you need something which is super crisp, right? So concentrate on the crispness. If you can't avoid, I can understand. See, we are giving an additional rough 600 pages of rough book we are giving, right? In case if you want, you add it, right? We have provided the option for it, right? But if you're offline, no. See, you don't have to submit everything. See, the purpose of submitting is that, you know, it has to, see, we are asking you to submit for an accountability perspective, right? And also because if some of you get a rank, we'll show that to the next year students that, you know, ye dekho, ye topper ka rank assignment hai, right? It's marketing material as well, right? But see, you don't have to submit everything, right? If you have doubts, you submit. If you feel it's going in the right direction, it's most likely that in the first month you will have to do a lot of this. But once you get a sense of how it has to go, stick to that format. Online as well, right? Offline students can transition into online. Online has to be online, right? Anything else? I hope I have given a sense of understanding, right? Keep a bet with your roommate or your family member for, let's say, an insane amount of money or whatever, right? So that you don't miss this out. Do this on a daily basis. It will not make sense for some of you in the beginning, but it will come together, right? And if you have covered 1,500 themes, that's the best you can throw at this exam, right? Okay. All the best. Thank you for your time, right? All the best. Right.